Good morning. Thank you for tuning in to the Monalisa Monroe Morning Show. Grab your coffee or your tea, hunty, because we have a lot to talk about. But before we get started on those red hot topics, please go to my website, www.monalisamonroe.com. We've got t-shirts, we've got mugs, we've got toast. Believe me, we've got you covered. And also, you could purchase my book, Life After the Diagnosis. If you know a survivor or you are a survivor, this is the book that you need. Well, let's go ahead and get this party started right, shall we?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Mona Lisa Monroe Morning Show. Grab your coffee and your tea, hunty, because we have a lot to talk about today. And just like the commercial says, please go to the website www.monalisamonroe.com. We've got your t-shirts, we've got your cups, we've got everything you need. So come on in the room. We've got a lot to talk about this morning. If you are new to the show, let me explain a few household rules. We basically go over 3 red hot topics. Now, sometimes we go over those 3 and have maybe 4, maybe 5. Or sometimes we just have one that's real hot. But today we've got 3 red hot topics, and I can't wait to go over them with you. And also, we have a special guest that we're going to be bringing on this morning. And you guys know who this special guest is. He's no longer a guest. He's just part of the family. Yes, he is. My husband, Gary Monroe. Yes. He is coming to the show. But before he gets here, I want to go ahead and extend my gratefulness for you tuning in this morning. And if you're new to the show, like I was saying, 3 red hot topics, baby. We tackle it and then we're out. We cover it and then we're out. But I do want you to respond. I want to hear from you. So please do. Please. Tune in, comment, click like, and share the show. We've got a ton of stuff to talk about. So let's go ahead and dive right into red hot topic number 1. Red hot topic number 1. Should the Supreme Court disqualify Trump from running? Good morning, Tanisha. Good morning, girlfriend. How are you, my yoga queen? Good morning, hunty. And hopefully, you'll be able to come to the church this Sunday. You're more than welcome, Hope City Church. Ding! Now, red hot topic. Tell me what you think about this. Should Supreme Court disqualify Trump from running? It now looks as if justices may be asked to rule. Now, of course, I give my little 3 cents first. And I don't think he should run. Why? Because the man just took a mug shot last week. Really? So anyway, we're going to be talking about that. Red hot topic number 2. Transgender triumph or biological bias. Leah Thomas, NCAA victory ignites fiery debate on the essence of women's sports. Do you or do you not agree with transgender athletes competing against women? Yikes. Yeah, we're going to dive right in. Yeah, we're going to dive right in. Red hot number 3. Furious Italians ban Kanye West and wife Bianca Censori for life after the couple commits a lewd act on a boat in Venice. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that. So, before we go any further in the show, help me welcome my Reverend Dr. Gary Monroe, my hubby, my partner for life, my
What's
king.
happening? What's happening?
Hey, honey.
What's happening?
How are you this morning?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
Good.
Got coffee.
Got your coffee?
Got it in my
Got it in your hand?
your wifey cup.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was hubby. You didn't see the hubby cup? It was waiting on you.
Well, I got the wifey. You know.
All righty then.
Yeah. So what's happening? I'm on your show, so I have to promote the wifey, right?
Yeah, okay. Well, you know, it's all
That's
good.
how that goes.
It's all good.
Okay, this is the Monalisa Monroe show.
Monalisa Monroe
So
morning show.
Morning show. So I got the wifey.
Mm-hmm. You got the wifey.
I got the wife a nice good hot cup of coffee this morning. So what's happening? What's going on?
Well, of course, we're going to talk about the red hot topics today.
Red hot topics today.
The red hot topics today for sure. So,
What are people talking about? This is
oh
what
my
people are
goodness,
talking about?
this is what the show's all about. We talk
Okay.
about what you're talking about.
Okay,
All right.
let's do that.
So let's rock and roll on this thing. So, first red hot topic of the morning
the morning.
is
Morning.
should
As she says. Morning. And she calls me Geechee, right?
morning,
Geechee,
honey.
But she says Morning.
Morning.
It's just like those people from Alana.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they say Alana.
Alana.
Yeah, they're from Alana.
Okay. God in the city. Okay.
Yeah, God City.
Got you. Okay, well, let's go over the red hot topic number 1.
Red hot topic number 1.
Yes. The red hot topic number 1.
Kind of scary because I don't know what this is about.
Well, we're basically talking about
Let's do red hot topic.
should Donald Trump run in the campaign? And the Justice or Supreme Court is talking about that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Should he be disqualified from running for president? And me, Mona Lisa, says he should be disqualified. He should be kicked out because he just took a mugshot last week.
Right.
You just took a mugshot.
He's indicted.
Yes.
So he's not, but he's not been officially charged yet.
He has not been officially charged,
Right.
But
so according, and I guess
it looked bad. It looked real bad.
Of course, it looks bad in that sense. You know, you are a candidate. In fact, not just a candidate, but a leading candidate.
59%
for the Republican Party.
Yeah.
But it goes to mind. You know, I'm running for mayor of Garden City, and you have the prerequisites for qualifying.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you meet these qualifying prerequisites, you can qualify. And you can't be a felon, anything of sort like that.
Oh, I see your point. So
Right.
You're saying he wasn't convicted.
From a law perspective. Now, I don't know.
He wasn't convicted, so
Right.
he can campaign and run.
Well, I'm just saying, right. So, right. He can.
It just looked bad.
I don't know. The optic is bad
The optics
in that sense.
the optics
But,
are shot.
I don't know all the presidential prerequisites for qualifying. But of course, you can't be convicted of a crime or anything of sort.
without due process.
Yeah. So, but
but it looked crazy.
To the public eye, and there's this argument at ground zero, that he should not be running. Now, what are the Republican prerequisites for running as a candidate?
Oh, I don't know.
You know, so those are the things that from a legal perspective.
Yeah.
But just from a
I-
Monalisa Monroe morning show topic of conversation,
It looks horrible.
right?
Should Supreme Court disqualify Trump from running? I say yes.
Mm-hmm. Monalisa says yes.
So what does Gary Monroe say?
Well, again, me being in politics, because I know.
So you're doing due process. He deserves due process.
Well, I mean, that's the reality. I know some things have come up here in Garden City that they have tried to look into to dissuade people from running. So they wanted to implement some other policies and qualifications. And it was spoken against. No, these are the qualifications for running for mayor of Garden City. You don't have to be this. You don't have to do this. Some type of background check, or 2, 3, 4, 5 proofs of identification, and just a number of things that kept coming up in the conversation early in the year. And of course, no, we have the prerequisites already established of what it's required to run for mayor. So
I understand. I understand your point of view. I really do. And so for me, not knowing all of the ins and outs of that, the optics of it, it looks bad. It looks like you can run for president and yet have a mugshot floating around. It just looks crazy.
Right. It's bad,
so, Yeah. So that's red hot number one. Knowing what you think about that. Red hot topic number 2. Transgender triumph or biological bias. Leah Thomas, NCAA victory ignites fiery debate on the essence of women's sports. Now, so me as a woman,
right?
The basic ABC of it all is it's not fair. Okay, that's my whole thing. It's not fair to have a transgender go against or run against or whatever a natural born woman because you were a natural born man. So
with all of his capacity,
with all of his strength,
physical capacity,
and it's not fair. So am I coming against LGBTQI? I don't know what all the alphabet is, but my basic thing is it's not fair. How do you figure that's fair? So that's my whole thing. I don't think you should run against an all women sport. You shouldn't be there because it's not fair. That's me talking. Right. What you think?
Well, I agree. I mean, the argument in this case is not about gender identity.
There you go.
You can identify.
You can identify however you want to identify.
That's your preference, right? But when it comes down to the engagement and interaction and competition of a specific gender, you're not just competing, you're competing in a specific gender-based competition, which is women's sports. Right. So genetically speaking, you being born a male, you are genetically have capacities that have more prowess than a female. You're stronger, you're faster in most sense than a female. You shouldn't be competing.
You should not be. And I'm just like, what?
Right. And I think what you're saying, a good word which you just used was fair. Now, you would say in your argument for gender identity, you want fairness. You want to be treated fair. Well, you should understand then the argument and the fight of fairness. Ask yourself, is it fair for a man to compete just in the normalcy of genetics. Is it fair? As great as Shelly Ann Fraser Price is, Sha'Carri Richardson's as fast and as great as she is in their own right.
Mm-hmm.
But could they run against Usain Bolt? Could they run against a Noah Lyles?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean?
Right.
They can't compete against them.
And you know, I might get some backlash, like women can do anything a man can do. I'm just to this point right here.
But that's not the argument.
No,
that's not the
what
argument.
we're saying, that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
What we're saying is when you start competing against one another, that this is not the workforce, this is not, you know, talent or anything like that. This is a competition of running, jumping, da 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 da. Women just aren't genetically I don't know of
supposed to say
I don't know of a
compete
woman
against a male physically,
physically,
but that's not the argument. And who should be at the front of this argument are women, because you know you have. I mean, I look at it also too, right? Women's suffrage. Let's go all the way back to women's suffrage, the fight for women's rights, and just to be recognized as a woman,
mm-hmm.
and that fight, you know, that women have engaged in.
Mm-hmm.
And you've come all these years and you've made all of these strides
mm-hmm.
for women's rights and to be recognized as a woman. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, you know, I saw someone say something to the effect, I think when Bruce
mm-hmm.
Jenner won Woman of the Year. And it's like, so you've been a woman all your life, all of these beautiful, amazing, phenomenal women, whether in Hollywood, whether who have made great achievements, you've been a woman all of your life. Okay.
Yikes.
And then in 1 year, someone identifies, a male identifies as a woman, and they win Woman of the Year. Okay. So, you know, so who should be at the front of this argument should be women, because, you know, it's almost, I would say, a slap in your face that, you know, you wake up every morning, you go through the pangs and pains of being a woman.
Well,
that a transgender would never experience.
That is the argument on TikTok right now. The argument on TikTok is basically, can a transgender call themselves relating to the point to where this is the true essence of a woman? And they were talking about the menstrual, and they were talking about this, that, that. And the bottom line, y'all, is you're impersonating. I mean, you're impersonating a woman, and that's fine. It's a compliment. Impersonations are compliments. Okay, so fine. But when you start to say that you are a true woman, I'm just like, because you're having to do operations to get there. We don't. Right. I'm just saying. All right.
But
to
the basis of the topic today, in competition,
it's not fair.
It's not fair.
It's not
At
fair.
the end of the day, it's not fair.
It's not fair. And I don't care how fast you are as a woman. I don't care how slow you are as a man. It's not fair. It's just not fair. And we're talking about Olympics. We're talking about setting the course of history for Olympics. We're talking, this is serious.
Right. This
is not just one race. This is throughout the rest of the course of the Olympics.
And let me say this, because you bring this up.
You add one, you're going to have to add all of them.
And you bring this up, right? You always ask, we follow, you know, you always say, honey, you really like track and field. I love track and field.
Me too.
So we watch it, we follow it. And women track and field is at a place that it hasn't been in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
We have prominent female athletes competing in a lot of different competitions, whether and I don't know all of their names, but these women are, I mean, they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And the American women, I mean, whether it's long jump, whether it's pole vault, the decathlon. They are.
We're excelling in all
the 100,
of them.
the 200,
Yeah.
the 4x100, the 4x4.
Right.
I mean, the women's sports right now for the USA. I mean, we are competing. I mean, and then when you talk about it's that Jamaica USA competition, it is there, right? It is at its zenith right now. It hasn't been like that where we've had female athletes competing in track and field. And I'm just using track and field, not talking about swimming and other competitions when we speak of in track and field or basketball or anything like that. But that's where it's most prevalent at right now. We talk about track and field. And a transgender comes along and say, yeah, I want to run against Sha'Carri Richardson. I want to run against Gabby Thomas.
That wouldn't be fair.
I want to run against Cindy McCauliffe. I want to run against these women.
That would not be fair.
In their own right, who have trained hard. I mean, you have to really be at the track and sport and to see the energy and the effort of the level of competition of these women. And then you say, okay, somebody with the prowess of a Noah Lyles, some guys say, okay, then, hey, identify as a female, so I'm going to run and compete in the 100, the 200. You take away from it.
And it's not fair.
It's just
right. It's just the right. Bottom line. It's not fair. So that's red hot number 2. Red hot number 3, to close out the red hot topic section, is furious Italians ban Kanye West and his wife Bianca Censeri for life after couple commits lewd act on a boat in Venice. He is no longer welcome.
Wait a minute. How can I'm
going to tell you.
How can someone commit a lewd act in Venice?
I'm going to tell you.
That's just like being in Brazil.
I'm going to tell you. So, word is.
What's the word?
That he was on the boat. Mm-hmm. You know how they use the boat for taxi or whatever? He's floating down the river. Well,
right.
She decided to get on her knees. And he decided to pull his pants down. So, long story short, lewd act. Now, what sense does that make, Kanye and Bianca? What sense does that make? Y'all are floating down this beautiful river, whatever this is. I don't know what they call it. And you're on this.
I hadn't heard the story, so
I'm telling you.
I'm not up on the hot topics like that.
I'm telling you. I researched for my audience.
Okay.
And there's no doors. There's no curtains.
What do they call people?
You are floating.
What do they call people? The lights, public
display of affection.
Yeah,
DNA.
No. Not
that's
PDA.
way above public affection.
No, not PDA, but what do they call it? That engages in sexual activities in the public. Voyagers.
Oh,
they might be voyagers. Hey, I don't know.
Okay, well, I tell you what.
Yeah,
you cannot be a voyager in Venice on one of them boats.
Listen, how many times, whether on, and these are family shows, Family Feud,
my gosh.
What does Pat say Jack on?
Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune. That the question is asked, where are the most sexiest men, sexiest women? Live. Italy, Venice. Everybody knows when you go to Venice, it's all about the sensuality, sexuality.
Of course.
On top
it's romantic.
It's romantic. The history. I guess they were having one of their romantic moments.
Look here.
I don't know.
You can't have what part of that secret, not secrecy, but that sense of privacy.
Yeah.
Don't you want that? Don't you want that? I mean, and you are now banned for life. Oh no, you cannot go there.
Why they want to do Kanye like that?
No, why Kanye want to do himself like that? That's horrible. And I'm just like, Kanye, you could have went anywhere. You could have got a room. I know you had a room. That was just crazy.
Because you said it took the fun out of it, took the spontaneity out of it.
Took the craziness.
Didn't have, yeah, that would have been too not crazy enough for him, man. I don't know.
I don't know.
But do you think though that they thought they were secluded enough?
Have you seen those?
No, I've not seen.
You've not? Okay.
I've not seen.
You're gonna have to research the Kambuno. I forgot what it's called. Kambuno, but it floats literally.
I know
it's a highway. Okay.
Yeah.
And people are on the side eating. It's restaurants. I'm eating, and all of a sudden here you come floating down the water.
Everybody else
and I'm
is
looking
doing everything and anything they're wanting to do in this day and time right now. I guess Kanye and what's his Bianca.
Lord have mercy.
I guess they're saying, hey, let's go for it.
Do what you like.
Do what's right in your own eyes.
Do what you like. Y'all remember that song? Y'all remember that song, Do What You Like? Okay. So closing out, last but not least, what's going on in Garden City? So I'm going to ask you.
Nothing.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a few questions because Dr. Reverend Gary Monroe is running for Garden City mayor, Garden City's mayor. And I know you guys have a lot of questions out there. Maybe it's floating. Maybe it's floating in your head, the questions that you would like to ask. And this is the opportunity to ask Gary.
Ask Gary.
Ask Gary. So
I think we have a local show. What's the guy named? Asa something? Ask Asa. Gary.
Ask Gary. So
Grill Gary.
Grill Gary.
Grill me.
Grill him.
Bring it on.
Do you remember last year we had an Ask Monalisa and Gary, and we might bring that back. I don't know, but anyway, so I'm going to ask you some questions that maybe maybe's floating out there in Garden City, and they don't know how to ask you, or maybe don't have a chance to ask you, or whatever the case may be. And I'll take questions on the floor if any come in. But as for now, sir, why run for mayor of Garden City?
Why run for mayor?
Why?
That's anybody or me, or why am I running for mayor?
The question is for you.
Why? And for me, first of all, it's not a running per se for me. I'm responding and answering to a call. I've always said this, that this is a calling to fulfill, that this is a God-inspired calling to not just run for mayor, but to revitalize and rebuild the city of Garden City. So when we talk about, and when you talk about running for mayor, someone has said to me, hey man, and it's been used, this guy has ran 4 times. He ran 1 time, didn't win. He ran the 2nd time, quote unquote, didn't win. Ran the 3rd time, didn't win. He's running a 4th time. Why are you running again? And I'm not running a race. I'm trying to finish my course. You see, that's what I've come to do. I finish what God has started. I come to finish what I've started here, and that is what I began to speak when I first moved back here in 2008. Came back home in 2008, in 2011. Decided to run for mayor. We saw the condition that the city of Garden City was in. I saw it. And you could foresee where it was going if we did not do anything at the time. And regardless of what people think of this candidate, that candidate, let's look at Garden City just in that window. The last 10 years, 15 years. We are no further along down the road than when we were 10 years ago. Wow. Nothing has changed.
Wow.
Nothing has changed. Nothing has happened. Nothing has changed or happened for the betterment of the citizens of Garden City. And that's where the rubber meets the road.
Right.
I remember one of our former city managers, he said that, yeah, Garden City is growing.
Mm.
And I asked him, I said, in what capacity? And he said, well, you got a valid question there, Mr. Monroe. He said, well, we're growing commercially. We're growing industrially. I said, but where are we growing residentially? He said, well, we're not growing residentially. And I said, well, that's where the problem is.
Good grief.
Because we are growing commercially we're growing commercially, and it's at it's a problem for, consequently, the residential community.
Wow.
We're growing industrially, but we're growing industrially, and it's a consequence to the residential community. So while we are growing in these capacities, the residential community is, being encroached upon.
So,
and the quality of life is gravely affected.
So with that being said, when is the election? When is the election for mayor?
The election was in the general election, November 7th.
Mm-hmm. This November.
Mm-hmm. We will cast our votes for mayor of Garden City, as well as 3 other seats. Okay. District 2, District 3, and District 4.
Okay. So in this arena, mm-hmm. does Garden City have campaign debates? You debate against whoever's running against you. Does Garden City do that?
Well,
like Savannah?
Well, it's not Garden City or Savannah that puts these debates on. Different organizations mm-hmm. will put these debates on. And in the time past, before, the Garden City Homestead actually was the first organization that facilitated a number of debates. So the Garden City Homestead Association, they will, as in time past, they will facilitate a debate for the mayor candidates. And then we had a number of other organizations that facilitated a debate. So to your question, there are debates. It all depends on what organization who's going to facilitate the debate.
So I'm thinking that should be something that an organization should try to head up and lead off.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Because right now, it's beneficial for people to know the platforms. It's not who you're related to. Do I like you or not? Mm-hmm. It's about what's your platform, what's your stance on A, B, C, D. What do you plan to do? And so I'm thinking a debate will give everyone the opportunity to explain and to sort of, talk about what their main points are. So with that opportunity now, would you want to go over maybe one of your platform?
I mean, just not and to what you were saying as far as voting for not just the right candidate, but the right leader. Mm-hmm. That's what we have to focus on. Mm-hmm. It's not about, quote unquote, the right candidate, the best candidate, the likable candidate, the lovable candidate. It's about who's going to be the best leader for the city of Garden City. It's not how much you like the candidate, mm-hmm. but how much do you love Garden City? See, that's where the rubber meets the road. Mm. Your love for Garden City. We see here that we have in some communities here in Garden City, we may have a Garden City reunion, a Westgate reunion, a Rosenau Hill reunion, a 5 Mile Bend reunion. We have these reunions, and we're calling and asking all Garden Cityans to come home and let's celebrate who we are, who we used to be. Those reunions are based on our love for Garden City. Mm-hmm. Cast your vote for your love for Garden City. Mm-hmm. And if you love Garden City, you can only cast your vote for Gary Monroe, because Gary Monroe is the only candidate in this race that is showing love for the city of Garden City and showing love to the citizens of Garden City, that can bring So you say one of my campaign platform is smart growth, safe development, sound leadership.
Mm-hmm.
So if industrial and commercial, the encroachment is a problem, then we need smart growth.
Mm-hmm.
I want to bring smart growth that is not going to negatively impact the city and citizens of Garden City and their communities. So let me just say this in point, just to show with the people what I mean. We have an opportunity to come into at the city possession of the old farmers market. Just behind this farmers market, I think it's like 65 acres of undeveloped land. And I want the people of Garden City to see this. Now, hear this. The current mayor and the other person that's running for mayor, Mr. Campbell, he voted to approve to industrialize that area. 65 acres. 65 acres that's just behind the farmers market. He voted to industrialize that area, where an area that we are now looking to put and build and construct our new recreation center. So why would you want to spend at a minimum $17 million to construct a recreation center on one side of a road, and then just on the other side of the road, you're gonna industrialize that area and allow for a warehouse, truck field, and terminal of over 500,000 square feet.
Was that already voted?
They voted on. I fought against it vigorously at the beginning of the year.
Was it a yes in the end?
At the end,
or is it
yes,
still on the table?
It was outvoted, so we don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen anything happening. But that's what I'm talking about: smart growth, smart development, or smart growth, safe development. That's not a smart growth plan. That's not safe. That's going to cause negative, grave, maybe irreversible impact and effects on the entire city of Garden City.
Right.
So this is what we're talking about.
Good morning, Dr. Rowe. I like that. Good morning to you. Thanks for tuning in. So this is concerning. Mm-hmm. This is alarming, because if you have a leadership in place, and this can go as close to you as your city or as far as the United States. If your leader is not for the growth and the love and the
just the well-being,
overall
well-being
of who you
quality
are,
of life,
we're in trouble. Good morning. Good morning.
And I mean, you got to think that what's been the argument? Listen, people, what's been the argument for the last, again, 10 years? What's been the argument? What's been one argument? And that's simply, we need another grocery store.
Yeah.
And no administration has been able to deliver us a grocery
store. No, and not even, I mean,
no administration. There's not even been a concerted effort to say, how do we go about bringing a grocery store here in the city of Garden City? And, here's the thing. It's funny that at one of the debates in the previous election, well, Mr. Monroe, how are you going to bring a grocery store here in the city of Garden City? We have not been able to do it. Well, yeah. So you're criticizing You're criticizing me for saying this is what we need to do and that I have the capacity to do it. And you're saying don't vote for him because we've tried everything we've tried. We can't do it. Mm-hmm. Well, that's an admission. Your criticism is not me selling you pie in the sky. Your admission is I can't deliver. We've tried. You've exhausted.
Yeah.
You've plateaued.
But then even when the thought of we've already did that, I really, I don't know, it makes my skin crawl. When somebody says we already did that, we already tried that. And exactly. It brings me back to scripture when Peter tells Jesus, we've already put the fish nets out.
Exactly.
We already threw it out.
Exactly.
And Jesus said, put it out there again.
Put it out.
So that's where I'm at.
And not just that. He just didn't say just cast your nets again. He said cast out a little further.
Go at least. Oh.
So to that, you've reached your limit.
Go a little further.
But they can't. They have reached their limit. They have used all of their professional prowess and skills. It's an admission. We've done all we could to try to improve the quality of life. The current administration, mayor, members of council, we've done, and city manager. Listen, people have come to me and said, hey, will you get rid of the city manager if you elected? This is from the Black community, white community. This is from everybody. Everybody's not pleased. People are not pleased with the governance and administration at the city of Garden City. They're implementing a lot of policies, doing a lot of things, but we don't see anything happening for the greater good of the people of Garden City. So, I will say this. If you ever question where I stand, if you ever question who I am, do this. What could hurt if you just give me a chance? What could hurt if you just say, you know what? This guy, he's been fighting for a long time. He's been trying to make a difference in the city of Garden City for a long time. They've tried to use every strategy to dissuade or discourage people from voting for me, from supporting the efforts that I'm trying to do to, he's only for the Black community, he's only for himself, or this, that, and the other. All of that's been false. If you go back and look at my history, you'll see that all of my campaign platforms was always for the revitalization, the total revitalization of all of Garden City. So give yourself a chance. Give Garden City a chance. And by voting for Gary Monroe, smart growth, safe development, sound leadership, that's for each citizen, every community, and the entire city.
All right. So I was going to say, what is your final pitch?
That's it.
So before we go, we got 2 minutes. So
I'll say this. Anybody could give you a pitch.
Okay.
What we need is a pitcher. We need a closer. You could bring me in. We need
a home run.
We need somebody. We need somebody who could come in this latter innings and win this World Series for the city of Garden City. We're here. I'm that closer. I'm that pitcher. So I don't per se have a pitch that I want to sell you. I'm letting you know I'm him. I'm that pitcher. I'm the closer. I'm the one that can get the job done. I'm the one who can get done that what you want done for here in the city of Garden City. You want grocery stores, more options, Gary Monroe can get that done. If you want more restaurants here in the city of Garden City, Gary Monroe can get that done.
Can get it done.
If you want
I like that.
More retail here in the city of Garden City, Gary Monroe can get it done.
Gary gets it done.
And it's because
GG.
It's because
GGD. Gary gets it done.
Gets it done. And here's the thing. And why?
Hashtag
Because
Gary gets it done. I'm writing that down.
What is it? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. With your current administration, Mr. Campbell and the city manager, there is no plan. Now, even though we have a comprehensive plan, ask yourself this. They say, well, we've done everything. You haven't done everything. How many things in our comprehensive plan can we check off? If we would just implement our comprehensive plan, we could get some things done. So you say, well, how are you going to get these things done, Mr. Monroe? Well, I'm going to implement the comprehensive plan. I'm going to implement our URP plan. I'm going to put in practice what we have written on paper. I'm going to put it into practice.
Gary
Plain
gets it
point.
done.
Just get it done.
Gary gets it
These
done.
are the things that are in our comprehensive plan. These are the things that you want, and you say, well, how are you going to get it done? As I alluded to, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I have a plan to put into action. And so with that plan, that's how we're going to be able to get it done.
Sounds good to me. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Monalisa Monroe Morning Show, and for my partner in life, my hubby, my friend, my lover, my man, Gary Monroe, Dr. Gary Monroe.
I was about to say something.
No, we're not going to do that. So, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.